The lock on your front door can be opened in seconds. Not smashed, opened quietly by someone who understands one hidden line inside it. Here's the part that should bother you. Your own key doesn't really unlock anything. It just solves a tiny 5-piece puzzle all at once. And once you see how that puzzle is built, you'll see exactly why a picker or a $10 bump key beats it just as easily. In about 6 minutes, I'll show you a key that pops almost any basic lock in a single tap. But first, you need to see the puzzle. Let's cut one open. The lock on most front doors is called a pin tumbler lock, and the modern design is over 150 years old. It is still on your door tonight, and still just as beatable. Here are the only two parts that matter. First, the housing. That is the fixed outer shell, mounted in your door, and it does not move. Second, the plug. That is the cylinder in the middle, the part with the keyhole, and it is the piece that rotates when you turn your key. Turn the plug, and a little tailpiece on the back end throws the bolt and opens the door. So the entire job of a lock comes down to one question. What stops the plug from turning whenever it feels like it? Because right now, sitting in your door, that plug is jammed. Something is physically blocking it. That something is the pins. Drilled down through the housing and into the plug is a row of little vertical shafts. Most house locks have 5 of them, some have 6. Inside each shaft is a stack of 2 pins sitting on top of each other. The bottom one is the key pin. That is the pin your key actually touches. The top one is the driver pin. And above the driver pin is a small spring, pressing the whole stack downward. That spring is the whole trick. It shoves both pins down so they sit low, and because they sit low, they bridge across 2 parts at once. Part of the stack is in the housing, part of it is in the plug. One solid pin crossing from the fixed shell into the rotating cylinder. And that seam it crosses, the exact circle where the rotating plug rubs against the fixed housing, has a name. It is called the shear line. This is the most important line in the whole video. Think of it as a cut waiting to happen. If nothing crosses that line, the plug spins freely. If anything crosses it, the plug is locked. Right now, with no key in it, every pin stack straddles the shear line because the springs push them all down. 5 little bars, all jamming the seam. 5 reasons the plug will not turn. And to open it, you need every single stack to break cleanly at that line. Not 4 out of 5. All of them. Miss one, and the plug still jams. Which raises the obvious question. What happens if you could lift all 5 at once to exactly the right heights? Look at your key. Here is where the cheat sheet comes in. Your key is not random. Those jagged peaks and valleys along the top edge are a code, and each one lines up under one pin stack. When you push the key in, each cut lifts its key pin by a precise amount. A deep valley lifts a pin a little. A tall peak lifts a pin a lot. The whole point is to raise each stack to a different exact height. And here is the elegant part. Remember, each stack is 2 pins, a key pin and a driver pin, with a split between them. The correct key lifts each stack so that split, the joint between the 2 pins, lands exactly on the shear line. Every stack at the same instant. Now the key pins are sitting entirely inside the plug. The driver pins are pushed up entirely into the housing. The plug is free. You turn your wrist, the cylinder rotates, the bolt slides, the door opens. A wrong key lifts the stacks too high or not high enough, so at least one split ends up off the shear line. And one is all it takes. The plug stays jammed. That is the entire difference between your key and every other key on Earth, whether the splits land on the line. 5:15. Chapter 4: Why Lockpicking Works. If the key just lifts pins to the right height, you might already be wondering, do you actually need the key to do that? And the uncomfortable answer is no. You need the heights. The key is just a convenient way to deliver them. Here's the exploit, and it comes down to the fact that no lock is machined perfectly. The pin shafts are never drilled in a flawless line. One is always a hair off center. A picker starts by putting a tiny bit of turning pressure on the plug with a thin tension wrench. Barely any force, just a whisper of rotation. That slight twist makes the plug want to turn, and it pinches whichever pin stack is the tightest, the one drilled slightly off, against the edge of the shear line. Then they take a thin pick and push that one pinched pin up. The moment its split reaches the shear line, the driver pin pops up into the housing, and because the plug was already under tension, the plug rotates a microscopic amount and catches that driver pin on the ledge. It cannot fall back down. That pin is now set. You often feel a tiny click. Then the tension shifts to the next tightest pin, and you do it again, one at a time. Click, 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 until every driver pin is caught above the shear line. Then, the plug turns. So the key solves all 5 at once. A picker just solves them one by one, using the lock's own tiny imperfections as a ledge to rest each solved pin on. 7:15, Chapter 5, The Honest Truth. How secure is this really? Now the honest part, because this is where most explainers go quiet. A standard pin tumbler lock, the kind on a huge number of front doors, is not a serious obstacle to a skilled person. Picking a basic lock can take seconds to a couple of minutes with cheap tools and practice. And there's an even faster trick called bump keying, where a specially cut key is tapped so it knocks all the driver pins up past the shear line at once, using simple physics. That $10 key I promised you at the start. A basic lock can fall to it almost instantly. So does that mean locks are pointless? No. It means you should be honest about what a lock is actually for. A lock mainly keeps honest people honest, and it buys time. Most break-ins are not skilled picking jobs. They are someone trying an unlocked door, or forcing a weak one, or breaking a window, and moving on fast if it looks like trouble. A decent lock raises the effort, and time and effort are exactly what a casual intruder does not want to spend. And this is why higher security exists. Better locks use anti-pick driver pins with weird shapes, spool pins and serrated pins that fall set. When a picker pushes one, it feels like it caught at the shear line, but it actually snags early and lies to your fingertips. So the plug binds and you have to back off and start over. Stack a few of those in a tighter, better machined lock, add sidebars and restricted keyways, and picking goes from a 2-minute job to a genuinely hard one. It never becomes impossible. It becomes not worth it. So kill the comfortable myth. A common household lock is a deterrent, not a vault. It is a puzzle with a known solution, and that solution can be delivered by the right key, by a pick, or by a bump. The thing actually protecting your home is not the lock alone. It is the lock, plus how visible your door is, plus how much time and noise and risk an intruder has to accept, plus the simple fact that most people are not trying to break in at all. That tells you the upgrade that matters is not a fancier keyhole. It is more friction. A solid deadbolt, a reinforced strike plate, so the door cannot just be kicked. Good lighting, and for the truly motivated, a higher security cylinder with those anti-pick pins. You are not buying an unbreakable barrier. Nobody sells one. You are buying time and hassle. And against almost everyone who will ever touch your door, time and hassle are enough. That little row of spring-loaded pins is a beautifully simple machine. Just know what it is and what it is not. Subscribe to Whambox for more How Does It Actually Work explainers.